Molded rods, broken rods. I made too much boost, and this is how I'm gonna fix it. So honestly, yes, I made too much boost. Those rods, the bent one and the broken one, are not from this motor. The bent one is actually from a 6-liter, but it's not from this one. And that broken rod and piston is actually out of my buddy's Mustang from a few years ago that I had sitting. I just thought it would have been funny. So my biggest problem on this is with the new motor, it's running a LQ4, but I changed the cylinder heads out when I built this motor. And I'm running 799 heads, which are from an LS6, LS2, one of the best flowing factory cathedral port heads you can get. But it bumped my compression. So right now this motor's running at 10-to-1 compression. I'm running it on pump gas. I have a trans brake in this transmission, so after fixing the fuel issue, fixing the fuel pump, getting it to run right, we went and did some test hits, and what happened was I have a 6-pound spring in my wastegate, and that's supposed to hold and open up to slow the turbo down to make it stay in that range. Well, trans brake, second gear, it hit 6 pounds of boost like it's supposed to. As soon as I let off the button and it launched, it pegged 12 pounds of boost. And by the time I shifted from second to third, I was at 17 pounds of boost, and that's actually when the motor quit down. Didn't blow up, didn't hurt anything. I was running out of fuel with the little pump I had installed, so it was actually getting too lean, which would kill the motor, but the Haltech safety feature on this knew that with it running lean to back the motor down so it doesn't hurt any components or roast pistons, because when you get really lean like that, it'll start scoring pistons because it just turns into a plasma torch. So this is Tree Hugger. I know I've done some videos in the past. So for Tree Hugger, I am using an eBay turbo log manifold, which is this guy right here. This was like 120 bucks. I made sure I sourced the right one. Like, you can see a bunch of them on eBay, and it's a single T4 flange. But you can find a bunch of them on eBay, but some of them are actually crooked, so it spins the exhaust housing on the turbo towards the motor, and I didn't want that. So you can buy it as a kit for an LS, and it does a new manifold on the passenger side, this new manifold. Then it does a new manifold on the driver's side. But what I did is I took the factory truck manifold from a Silverado and cut the 3-bolt flange off of it and welded on a 2.5-inch V-band and made my own crossover that goes underneath the motor. Originally had a flex pipe on it, but it wasn't straight because of how I made it. Alright, so yeah, I blew that flex pipe apart and I made a slip joint on that. But the reason why I'm doing that is because I built my own crossover because of my driveline clearance, and when this thing's at full stuff or full bump, driveline clearance with the factory U one you can get that fits in a Silverado also would not really fit in this chassis. This is a 69 Suburban, so it's a little bit different than a factory Suburban, like the 99 to 2000 Suburban, Tahoe, Silverados that you can buy the kits for. Plus their wastegate is not in a good position. It's actually on this bottom corner, right where my driveline is, but in the trucks it's not there. But it's just not an efficient spot. You can't slow the turbo down, so you can't control it. Mine is also not in this most efficient place. Like, I know that it should probably come off the straight and off the face of this, but where my oil drain and charge pipe and everything needed to fit, because this thing was a big package thing. Cage was already in it, and my radiator, so that was cool. I didn't have to buy one and fit it. I had to make room with what I had, so that was my next challenge. But I'll get to that. I couldn't come straight off the face of that, so I went down. I'm not running the AC, so it landed right there. It still catches right in the most turbulent spot in that corner, so that works out just fine. But with this new motor, it makes too much back pressure or too much exhaust energy to slow it down with a single 44mm wastegate. So what I did was add a second 44mm wastegate to this build. This is off the driver's side. This is where I welded on a 2.5-inch V-band originally with the kit. And I added another 44mm. Definitely not the most efficient range and position, but clearance is a big thing. I couldn't go directly off the bottom of where this sweeps through because my upper link comes inside the frame at full bump. And I wanted to make sure I can get the exhaust routed from the wastegate outside the frame so I'm not cooking anything on transmission or burning anything. those were just some quick shots. Definitely need to do a lot more tuning. I have it now boost under control. This thing's sitting at 5 pounds of boost right around where I want it on gate spring, and it's working great, clearly. So those were trans brake launches. I had my dad driving so I could film. Should have been trans brake first and second gear launch on a couple of those, so it was bouncing back and forth, and then just the two-step by itself. If you guys enjoyed this rig, you want to see more of this rig, I know someone asked me about doing a walk around of that one. I still need to. So that's my Jeep Carnage. It is a CJ7 that I turned into a truck. This is a 69 Suburban that I picked up from a buddy of mine, and I'm still in the midst of getting everything dialed in. The old motor was a 5.3 cammed with the sloppy stage 2 from Amazon. That is now in Carnage. This is the 6-liter that came out of Carnage. It's an LQ4, but I have completely gone through it. I dingle ball honed the block, so it did not new pistons, but it's got new mains, new main bearings, new rod bearings, new cam bearings, brand new rings. It's got Hastings rings that are gapped for boost. It has ARP head studs, and I swapped to a set of 799 cylinder heads, so this thing is actually sitting about 10-to-1 compression. That's also why I want to bring the boost down, and we'll run it from there. It's got FIC fuel injector connections, not fuel injector clinic, fuel injector connection, 1000cc injectors. I had to send them in. I had one that died. I don't know if it got stuck. It was just from sitting. They warrantied it out, which was fantastic. And it's been running pretty good now. So dual wastegates were the key with this for the overboosting issue, the boost creep. And it definitely parties. That was on 5 pounds of boost, and now we can start turning it up and actually get this thing back on a dyno like I did with the old 5.3 motor. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you want to see more of this rig, please let me know. Trying my best. Thank you guys for watching. You guys have a good rest of your night, good rest of your day. Goodbye.